I've heard a lot about my dad. He was a boxer, he died, blah, blah, blah. So when I got out of secondary school, I was like, okay, fine, I want to know if really this man was a boxer and how he died. I went on social media, on the internet to search. My name is Abidemi David Ali Fadansi, formerly Abidemi Lukman Ali. I was born to the family of Ali Mim Mustafa Fadansi, who happens to be a late Nigerian boxer, popularly known as Young Ali. I was under the tutelage of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control, who were taking care of my school fees till I finished secondary school. I stayed with the Oswin family, who happened to be my family because they took me in as their children, and they've been very nice to me. My mom, yeah, she's still alive. She's remarried to Mr. Dauda Agiwa. She lives somewhere in Lagos. Right now I'm working in Gideon Comprehensive High School. I've been there, it's more or less like my home, because since my childhood at the age of 6 when I moved into Gideon, I've been living with the family and they took me as their own. I graduated from secondary school 2001. Yeah. After then, I've heard a lot about my dad. He was a boxer, he died, blah, blah, blah. So when I got out of secondary school, I was like, okay, fine, I want to know if really this man was a boxer and how he died. I went on social media, on the internet to search. Meanwhile, before then, the General Secretary of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control then, which was Dr. Pawota, I sent an email to him asking about my dad, how he died, who was the boxer he fought with. He replied me by saying my dad fought with Barry McGuigan of Ireland. I went on the internet, that was 2001, 2002 if I'm right, to search for the name Barry McGuigan. But to my surprise, instead of getting Barry McGuigan, it came out with Barry McGuigan of Ireland. So while I went to his profile, I came across my dad's name, the fight, so I know, okay, definitely this is the man. I sent several emails to boxing websites, trying to get details of the fight, how he died. Fortunately, I got different emails, replies confirming that, yeah, your dad, Young Ali, had a bout with Barry McGuigan in Mayfair, England, 1982. June 14 to be precise. That's just few days before I was born, because I was born June 26, 1982. So he fought June 14, 1982. So I sent different emails, to different boxing websites. So one day I received an email from a woman who called herself Catherine McGuigan and introduced herself as the sister to Barry McGuigan. So she just wanted to find out, confirm if really I'm the child of Young Ali, because they were aware that Young Ali's wife was pregnant few days and gave birth few days after the fight. So I said, yes, I am. So after a while, I got a phone call, an email first from a man who introduced himself as Barry McGuigan, and who said, yes, he was the one who had the fight with my dad, and what explained how it happened, how bitter he was, how his parents actually advised him then to stop fighting because of the incident that happened then. But he said no, he has to keep on fighting until he gets the title so that he could dedicate it to Young Ali. Eventually, he was able to win the title and he dedicated it to my dad. He sent letters to me, yeah, I have the copies of the letters here, asking for few information just to ascertain the fact and prove the fact that I'm the child of Young Ali. I replied him, and since then he called a couple of times and asked me to send pictures. So he asked for my dad's picture first. I said, well, I don't have my dad's picture, but all I hear from people is that I look very much like him. So he requested for me to send his pictures, my picture, sorry, which I sent to him. And when he saw it, he gave me a phone call. I said, yes, this is young Ali he's seeing. So he had a friend on the island, Broad Street, that's Western House, Thomas and Tomisi Chambers. So he asked me to go and meet him. After several attempts, I saw the man, and he was happy to see me and said, fine, that Barry is ready to do a lot of things, but I need to bring some couple of documents, which I did. Along the line, my grandma of blessed memory was, I don't know, she was scared and felt my contact with Barry will cause a lot of harm. I was like, why? She just said, for my sake, stop communicating with Barry, sorry. I said, okay, fine. So that was how the communication broke between myself and Barry. After some years, some of my cousins just called me and said, bros, we saw on the internet a letter that so person Barry McGuigan is looking for young Ali's son and the wives. I went on the internet, I saw it as well on Nigerian to be precise. And I saw on Nigerian a lot of people have been sending emails to the person claiming to be young Ali's son. I sent an email to the person, but there was no reply. So I guess I must have received a lot of email from different people claiming to be young Ali's son. So I sent different letters to the same address in Kent, England, where Barry sent email letters to me, but there was no reply. I also sent a letter to a cousin of mine in England named Lavin Ivory. She also went to the boxing gym to drop the letters, but it was shut down. So ever since then, I've been trying to communicate with Barry to see how we can get connected back, because I'm sure there's a lot of things we still need to talk about, and obviously he has some helps to render to myself and my mom. So that's how it has been along the line. I have my documents to prove I'm the only child of young Ali. Every other thing they need, I can prove it. My family, my father's side, they are alive, and we've got pictures and every other thing to prove it, even the pictures of his burial, to prove that I am the only child of young Ali, and my mom is also alive to testify to that as well.
So the card he sent them, and he included £50 when he was sending it back then. You can't, if you see read to the letter, you attach £50 just in form of a gift back then.
I moved out of Gideon School year 2006 to come to this apartment, and that's how it has been since then.
Picture from what I got, though not very clear, but you can see that's burial when he was buried in my hometown in Ifaki, Ekiti State. So that's just it. But I was told different people from all walks of life entered the town by then. Good enough, I think I have to commend my father's family, his boxing kit, everything I stay in his hometown. When I visited my town for the first time in 2014, I'm not too sure, I think 13, if not September 2013, no, September 2013 because I remember his mom died on February 14, 2014, so when I was there 2013 September for the Ileya festival, which was my first time of visiting the town. So I was surprised and amazed. The box he came with when they brought his body back from UK, all these boxing kits are still intact. It's just that I can't get the pictures right now because I took pictures with the boxing kits and every other thing. So there was a trust fund which they have been handling to take care of me till secondary school, and they asked me, since I'm old enough, I should be able to take care of the trust fund. So they asked me to write a letter requesting to take over the trust fund. This was the letter I wrote to them, and this was when they approved it. It's on their letter headed. So this is a copy. after it was handed over to me when the bank printed the statement.